Alright guys, so welcome to today's giveaway tutorial, and in today's tutorial we will create a gear for Snakeman, guys. So there are barely any videos out there which really deal with this kind of transformation, and if there are some out there, then they most likely are just, using free model stuff. So they, for example, have this gear 4 model, which is a free model, and they barely explain anything, so it's just how it is. But we're not going to do that, so we are going to create everything by ourselves, and we are going to explain everything from the beginning to the end. So stay tuned, and yeah, so what do we have to do in order to create this gear for Snakeman? We first of all have to work on the transformation, so the gear for Snakeman model. And in order to do that, we will now switch over to Blender soon. But before we do that, we will export some stuff from Roblox Studio. For example, the dummy hat and the dummy arms and legs. We will export them over to Blender because we'll need them to build the hair first of all for the Snakeman model, but also all of the hockey on the limb. So hockey arms, hockey legs, so all of that stuff. And after that, we will come back to Roblox Studio and just build the model. So we will put everything together and then come up with a cool model, hopefully. And after that, we will work on the transformation, and then we will work on the moves, right? And that's going to be the whole content of this one long tutorial video. At least I think that it is going to be long. So we are currently at 2 minutes, but it'll probably take over 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. I'm not sure, but we'll see. With that being said, go to plugins, build rig, R15. Now, what you have to do is that we will separate everything right here. So we will only need the following things. So we will need one set of arms and one set of legs. So right arm, right lower arm, and right upper arm. So let's take them. Let's separate them from each other. Okay, so like this. And now do the same for the legs. So left lower leg, left upper leg, and left foot. So we will use them to build the hockey. There we go. And now select everything from them. So lower leg, upper leg, foot, lower arm, upper arm, and right hand. And then the head. So select them. Right click, export selection. And then export this to somewhere. And after you have exported it, you can open up Blender. So I'm going to pause the video at that point, and then we'll see each other in Blender. Now, let's find some cool shirts and pants for this Snakeman model. And then let's go back to Blender, in which we will create the hockey limbs. So hockey arms, hockey legs. No. So pants and shirt. Now I'm gonna pause the video, and then I'm gonna come back when I found something interesting. I literally have a problem with the hair. I don't know. I don't really like the hair, to be honest. I think that I'm gonna take the Gear 5's hair, and then just edit it to the way that it actually is able to be applied, or it is applicable on the Snakeman model. Okay, because this hair right here, it fits more to the Snakeman than than the previous one and this one. So let's get rid of it. All right, there we go. Now the hair is a lot more better, to be honest. So, same thing for this hair as well. Port 0 is this one, port 1 is this one, port 0 is our head, and port 1 is this hair. Let me get rid of the Gear 5 model. There we go. Okay, so this fits more perfectly. Now I have imported some shirts and pants. So if we take a look at the pants, then we'll see that, well, there's actually no space for hockey legs. So we are just going to focus on the hockey arms for now. And yeah, there we go. All right, so I'll see you back in Blender, okay? All right, so back here in Blender, we will now only work on the arm. So let's do it. Alright, so we have now finished with the arm hockey. So as you can see, I've duplicated the hand. So this is like the right hand, and this is going to be the left hand. That's the reason why I've done this. Now join everything together. No mesh data to join. Now there is. Alright, so as you guys know, exporting multiple objects only works by this. So export single by single, delete everything, then file, export obj, then export this part, then undo everything, so Control Z, and then do the same step for another part, and then, just repeat it till you have exported everything. So I'm going to pause the video at that point, and then we are going to be back in Roblox Studio once I have exported everything. Alright, so here we go, back in Roblox Studio. So let me just copy this here. Thing right here, let me call this one right lower arm hockey. Go to this file symbol and then just import it. Okay, so here we go. Okay. Now repeat the same step for all of the other parts as well. So wait. Oh wait. Here we go. So the problem with this one is that, wait, so this is supposed to be the upper arm. Let's make the lower arm transparent, because you have to see where the upper arm ends. Wait. No. Wait. I'm confused at this point. Wait. No, this one is actually the lower arm. I'm sorry. Let's make the hand transparent so that we'll see where the lower arm actually ends. There we go. Let's duplicate it. Let's put it inside of here. Let's play around with the size a little. Alright, here we go. Now, let's make the right hand not transparent anymore. Let's duplicate this one. And let's call it right hand hockey. Delete this other part. Move it down. Is it? Make sure that double-sided is on. Cool. Now, those fingers, they might look pretty funny. Yeah, they do. But well, that's just how it is. So, right hand hockey, duplicate it. Put it inside of here. Change the color, change the material. Change the transparency. 0.8. 0.8. There we go. There we go. Now, Repeat the same step for the other arm, so for the left lower arm. So call this one left lower arm. So the thing with this one is that we have to import the left hand fist, which we have created in Blender as well. Alright, here we go. There we go. Now we have to weld everything and then we are good to go. So one more thing, I want to know which transparency this hair right here has. So 0.9, so let's make it 0.9 as well. Alright, here we go. Now let's weld everything. So at this weld constraint, you guys should know what part 0 and part 1 stands for. You know. So I'm not gonna go into detail for this one. So one weld constraint welds this red part with the black hockey part, and the other weld constraint welds the hockey arm to the other to the actual arm, and the same goes for the fist as well. So the hockey fist to the normal fist. Alright, here we go. Now, let's test this out. Let's see what or how this Snakeman model looks like when we test it out. Okay, so nothing does fall apart. Now, one more thing we should do is to create this smoke beam, or those smoke beams. And I'm honest with you, I have already done that in my Gear 5 video. So go ahead and check it out if you want to know how to create it. So I'm just going to take over this one from this Gear 5 right here. So we're going to be a little bit lazy with this one. But I hope that it is okay for you. But it is still self-made, so. So. There we go. Let's test it out. Let's see how it looks like now. All right. Now, one more thing. So one of these parts is anchored. Okay, disable it. Now, we should be able to move this Gear 5 model right here. All right. So what we have to do is we have to transform into this one. So the transformation is actually pretty easy, so it is the same thing as with the Gear 5 transformation. So we are going to make our character invisible. Then we are going to duplicate this one from the replicated storage, so this Gear 4 character right here. We're going to put it inside of our character. And then we're going to weld it onto our humanoid root port, so it stays attached with us. And then we're going to create some kind of script which is going to replicate every animation and which is going to translate the animation somehow. So let me explain you what I mean by translation. So when we walk, then we have a certain walk animation. Now, our walk animation is not going to be the walk animation of our Gear 4. Therefore, we need some kind of, translator. You can call it translator if you want to, which sees that, or which notices that our actual character, which is invisible at that time, is walking, and then translates that information to the walking animation of our Gear 4. So basically, it converts it somehow and creates a walking animation for Gear 4. And the same goes for everything else, so when it comes to jumping or whatsoever, but we'll probably only need to deal with the walking at this point. Alright, now, so let's call this one Snakeman. Let's put it inside of the replicated storage. Now let's create a tool. Let's call it Snakeman. And let's add a local script inside of it. And inside of this local script, we're going to add a normal script, and we're going to add a remote event. Let's call this one control. Let's call this one Snakeman server. Let's call this one Snakeman remote. Now, first of all, make sure that requires handle is false for this tool. Now go inside of this control script. And let's do the following. So script parent equipped connect function. There we go. Script parent unequipped connect function. There we go. So it should be clear. So script parent refers to this tool. And when this tool has been equipped, then we want something certain to happen. And the same goes for when the tool is being unequipped. And when the tool is being equipped, then we want to apply the Snakeman mode. And when it is being unequipped, then we want to get rid of the Snakeman. So script remote, wait, Snakeman remote, via server, Snakeman. Now, let's copy this command. Instead of Snakeman, let's do remove. So we are fire serving this remote right here. And as you know, remotes, when they're being fire served, they, or we can create, another event inside of the server script, which checks whether this remote right here is being fire served. And when that happens, then we can create some kind of reaction of this server script. And this reaction, in this case, is dependent on what the first argument is. So I call this method, some kind of task, okay? So we have this argument right here, this first argument, which basically determines the task of how the server script is going to work. So if the task is Snakeman, then we will have an if statement inside of the server script, which checks whether the task is Snakeman. And if the task is Snakeman, then the task is going to be that the Snakeman model has been cloned, etc., etc. So that the player overall just transforms into the Snakeman. And when the task is removed, then we want to remove the Snakeman. So that's just this method with tasks. And the first argument is always a task inside of here, of course, and the second argument are just following arguments which are needed in order to fulfill the task. Now, this might sound pretty abstract, but let me just tell you how it, or show you how it works. So fire serving this remote event will cause the following. So instead of this server script, we're going to refer to this remote on server event connect function. So basically, this event right here happens when this remote event is being fire served, and we are fire serving this remote with certain arguments, so Snakeman or remove, and these arguments can be received through these brackets. So the first argument is always the player, okay? So we have not even put the player inside of here, so we haven't done something like this, but the player is automatically being passed onto this event, okay? And the second argument inside of the server script is our first argument inside of here, basically the task. So what is the task? If what equals Snakeman, right? If what equals remove, then that's just how it is. So we have now created those if statements, which basically differentiate between all of these tasks. The first task is Snakeman, so we should transform into Snakeman, and we'll now work on that. Okay, so this is going to be the same transformation as for the Titan we have dealt with in a previous giveaway episode. So we have to loop through the character. This character get descendants, so we are basically looping through every part which is inside of the character, or every instance which is inside of the character, and we have to check whether the instance we are currently at is either a part or a mesh part, because those two are like the only parts which are going to occur inside of this character model, and also those are the only parts which have a changeable transparency. So transparency 1, so we want to make them transparent. Now if the name is hat, then so especially when we encounter the hat, then we want to make the face transparent. So face transparency 1. There we go. Now let's copy the Snakeman model. So game, get service, replicated storage, child, Snakeman clone, and parent it to the character, of course. So player dot character. Now humanoid root part C frame equals our characters humanoid root parts C frame. So we are basically setting the position of the Snakeman model to our character's position, and then we are welding the Snakeman model into our character. So instance new weld, yeah, W part 0, W parent, no. This is, of course, the part 0. So part 0, when it comes to welding, as you guys should know, is the part we are welding something onto. In this case, we are welding the Snakeman model onto our existing character. So part 0 is our humanoid root part, and part 1 is this Snakeman's humanoid root part, which is also the parent of this weld. Now let's check this out. Let's see how it's going to work out. Alright, there we go. Now, we have to animate this thing, okay? So let me try and animate it. But before we do that, actually, I want to check for something. Let's remove the humanoid. Wait, what happens when I remove the humanoid? Shirt and pants will probably disappear, yeah. So we're unable to remove the humanoid. Alright then. Alright. Alright, so let's quickly try to create an animation for this one. So, animation editor. Wait. We have to move this beam part outside, so you guys know what the issue is. If you have watched the Gear 5 video as well. So this beam part right here is just blocking us from animating, you know. Wait, oh, okay, there we go. Alright. Let's loop it. Okay, there we go. So this is of course not the best animation you can have, but well, it at least is an animation, you know? I don't know. Legs, you know, the legs, they look pretty weird. I think that they're moving a little bit too fast to it. Okay. Now it is actually fine. So make sure that it is looped and then go to priority. So go to those three dots, priority, set it to action, then publish it to Roblox. And let's call it Snakeman idle. Copy the ID. Close everything. And go back to the Snakeman model right here. Insert an animation and then the animation ID inside of here. And yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's keep this model right here. Let me even get rid of this beam part. Is it? Let me get rid of it. So we are going to animate on this one for now, and let's try to implement this animation, this idling animation, to our Snakeman model now. Alright, so what we need to do is that we can just do it this way. So local idle loader as humanoid animator. But we have to add this animator instance inside of here. So what this animator instance does is that it is responsible to animate stuff. So that's just the way in how you play an animation. So you refer to this animator instance, which usually sits inside of the humanoid, and then you apply this load animation function, and then you have to refer to the animation you want to load inside of those brackets, and then you just play the animation. or you play the loader, to be exact. Now, there we go. So, this is our Snakeman model right here. Problem is that the animation does not really fit with the way we are bouncing. Well, what can we do about it? I don't know. We could like speed up the animation if we want to, so that would be one possible option. So instead of having 2 seconds, let's have like 1 second or so, I don't know. Yeah, let's just try it out for 1 second. Let's see what this will bring to us. Okay, there we go. Let's play. Okay, so this is far better. Now, let's work on one more thing, which is going to be this moves GUI, okay? And this moves GUI right here is going to be pretty important for our Snakeman. So for now, I've planned to create at least 2 moves. Maybe we'll also create 3, depends on the moves itself, because I have not really looked into them, but the first one is going to be this Jet Culverin move. Second one is going to be the Jet Culverin with just both arms, you know, so the same thing as for Gomu Pistol and Gomu Bazooka, so that you have both arms involved this time. And the third one, well, that's the problem, because I haven't really thought about the third one, but there are plenty of attacks out there which we could possibly use as a third attack, you know, so that's just one thing in which we'll deal with later after we have finished both attacks, first of all. Now, let's work on this moves GUI, and in my Titan Shifter video, I have... No, wait. No, it was this Wall Breaker combat. So, in my Wall Breaker combat video, I have already shown you how to create this this moves GUI, okay? And if you're curious about how to create it, then go ahead and watch that video, because I'm not going to go into detail for that now, but I have already created it, so... Okay, so let's just... Wait. Let's do it this way. Game. Players. Wait, we can just take over what we have written inside of here. So combat, control, camera shake, tween. Yeah, okay, so let's just take over this thing. So if you're curious about how this works, then as I've told you, just check out that wall breaker tutorial, that wall breaker combat tutorial, because that's the video in which I have created the skills menu. Okay, let's play. Let's test it out. Let's see how it works. And remote. Okay. Okay, this does not work for whatever reason. Well. Yeah, of course, we have to enable the GUI first of all. Otherwise, this will not work. There we go. So, basic combat. Well, we could actually keep it as a move, but that would be too boring, so that would also be cheating at this point, because I would lure you guys by saying, whoa, look, we have one more attack than usual, and then this one more attack turns out to be the basic combat, you know, so that's just, I don't know about it, but I'm definitely not going to do it that way. So instead of having combat right here, let's call it Snakeman. And instead of having this basic combat right here, it's called Jet Culverin. Jet Culverin. Wait, we actually had some kind of... No, we did not. Cooldown duration. Okay, so this is like actually the point in which we have to customize each attack. So, cooldown duration for Jet Cover move. Let's actually have 2 seconds. The skill key is going to be Q, and the skill name is going to be Jet Culverin. Now I have to find out what the other move's name is, so the move where we basically just do the Jet Culverin with both hands at the same time. So let me just pause the video, let me quickly find out what the move's name is. So I'm gonna call the second move. So the move which basically involves both arms, I'm gonna call this one Black Mamba. Okay, so that's actually the move's name, I've just looked it up. Alright, so E is going to be E. Skill name, of course, not gonna repeat it, but you guys know it. So cooldown duration 4 seconds. Now the third move is going to be King Cobra. And this move right here, as far as I've understood it, it is basically just a basic Gomu pistol just with those hockey arms right here, okay? So nothing too big. So skill key, let's put it at R, on R. Yeah, let's make the cooldown duration 5 seconds, okay? Now let's play it again, and let's see if it works. And if it works, then we'll move on with creating those moves. So, as you can see, it does work. So one quick... Oh wait, let me actually add this remove feature before we move on with the moves. So one quick thing regarding the Snakeman, okay? So the Snakeman has this, or is special in regards of the pistols or the attacks. So you guys know that Luffy is able to direct his fist, and that's basically one obstacle regarding the creation of Snakeman attacks, because creating that direction movement is actually pretty difficult if you think about it. I have a possible solution for it, but I have never tested it out. It might happen that the plan I have is not going to work, and then we are pretty much fucked up, yeah. All right, so let me just quickly work on this remove feature. So we just have to do everything we have done up here, but just reversed. So face transparency is 0, and all the other transparencies are 0 as well. And if v.name is humanoid root part, then we want that transparency to be at 1, because you know that the humanoid root part is always invisible. And this part right here does not really pay attention to, okay, so is this part which I'm turning back to visible right here again, is it the humanoid root part, or is there any other body part? That's basically the issue up here. So we are going to correct this one by checking whether the part is the humanoid root part, and if that's the case, then we want it to stay transparent. We also have to remove this this ear for Snakeman thing right here. Basically we have to remove it up here. So if player character find first child Snakeman, then remove it. Destroy. There we go. Okay, now the GUI is messed up. Now it works. So you should not spam it. That's just the thing you should pay attention to. All right, now let's move on with the moves actually. All right.